Hey YouTube, it's Cutt here, and we're bringing you another one. I'm a digital artist who likes to watch movies with the people, and today we are about to review Season 2, Episode 3. Oh my goodness. I didn't even write down my overall feeling just now. I just realized. At all. So we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. So before we get into everything, don't forget to check out my Etsy shop. I got a bunch of new stickers here. Black History Month is coming. I actually have a sale going for Black History Month. I think I have 35% off of all stickers, not just the black ones, but all the stickers. I am going to be designing some new ones, but I just don't have anything in mind right at the moment. But throughout the month, I'll be designing more. And also there's some really special things happening. Hopefully this month is a goal. So just stay tuned for some big news coming this month. Okay. Also, starting next week, my goal is to go live on all things I can possibly go live on, and not just here, but on the podcast as well. So the podcast going forward every Thursday will be live. I don't have a time, but it'll be every Thursday, ideally sometime in the morning, afternoonish. And then the reviews, the ranking videos, any type of any video where I can literally just explain things without having to pre-record, I'm going to go ahead and go live. It'll save me a lot of time, but it'll also allow me to interact with you all. So I'm very excited about that. So the goal is next week. I couldn't do it this week because I have a lot that I need to prepare when it comes to the live. I got my live set up, but I still have to do some designing and how I want it to look. So there's gonna be a little bit of a busy week, but that'll set us up for a really exciting future. Okay, if you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button, because we're gonna keep bringing this stuff to you. Okay, so remember, this is the breakdown. We do a pre-spoiler, which is very short. We just do my ranking and how I feel. We're going to do the spoiler, which breaks down into the recap, the characters, the twists, the confusion, and then my prediction. This week was really good, so we got a lot to talk about. So let's get into the overall feeling. I didn't write it down, but it was absolutely fantastic. I was very much excited watching this. When I first started watching it, I was actually exhausted. It was like very late at night from a big event. And I was like, okay, let me pause. As soon as I noticed it was about to shift into a lot of craziness, I was like, let me just watch this when I'm really clear-minded. So I watched it this morning. Really, really exciting. Really good. Very much like a jaw drop. Why are you doing that? Why is that happening? A lot of that going on. If I was to rank it, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 episode. Sorry, here's the coffee girl. I know this is not coffee, it's just water, but there goes the coffee girl. Okay, so it's definitely a 10 out of 10, which is not easy to do. To get, usually 10 out of 10s are either held for the first episode or like the last episode. For it to be a 10 out of 10 on the episode 3, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're about to get into spoiler review territory, okay? We're about to make spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then get on out of here and go watch the episode and come back. And if you don't mind being spoiled, just stick around. Okay, cue the music. All right, first we start with the recap. So in episode 2, we had a full Audi experience. We got to see all the Audis and what they're going through right after season 1. So we saw from the moment of season 1 what the Audis were doing. Pretty cool episode, a little slow, but a lot of information to get an understanding of the pace, the comparison pace of the outside world and the inside world, right? So that was really exciting. Miss Cobel was offered a job that she didn't decline, but she kind of was like, I'll think about it. And the job, it wasn't what she wanted, because she wants to be back on the 7th floor, and they're like, how about we got something else for you? And she's like, I don't want that. So that was that conversation. Mr. Melchek was on a searching journey to find what's going on, because they don't really know what happened, so they trying to get information. And he went on a journey in the outside world to talk to the Audis to find out what happened. He didn't really get much information, but he tried to find out. And then lastly, last scene apart from episode 2, Miss Cobel and Mark had a whole situation with a car, okay? And he like, do you know something about my wife? And she didn't want to answer, but her non-answer was an answer. And that's how we were left off episode 2. Okay? Okay, so let's get into the characters, okay? So first, just the overall, the innies, right? the main 4 characters. Right now, they're on a hunt to find Miss Casey and lack thereof. So half of them are on a hunt. The other half, not so much. Kinda on a hunt, but not really. The half that's on the hunt is Mark and Helly. The not on the hunt is Irving and Dylan. Not so much. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. So let's start with Irving. Irving, so he goes up to Dylan like, I think I drew out the elevator. I think I know where we can go. Like, let's go. Let's figure it out. And then Dylan's like, I'll just sit back. And he's like, so we'll talk about why he's sitting back. But he's like, I'll just sit back. He's like, okay. So anyway, he leaves and he goes to where Bert used to work, that department where they have the artwork. And so he just went to go look to see if maybe there's something around. But then who comes out? Felicia. And guess what he gets? He got a black woman hug. Bring out the black girl. He got a hug from a black woman. I said, well, his life's changed forever. His life's changed forever. So he got a hug, and they basically were kikiing up, laughing and reminiscing about Bert and all the good times and stuff like that. And then he shared some artwork that he's been drawing of Bert every day since he left. And she shared that artwork, which was very touching, very beautiful. And then, what was on one of them pages? The elevator. Now, the way he played it off, it really did seem like he wasn't trying to show her. Like, I don't think, okay, let me put it right. I don't think he was trying to show her because he had zero intentions on meeting anybody. I don't think he planned to meet anybody. He was just like, I'm just going to go over there and see the artwork. Maybe I can get some clues from that. It just so happened Felicia walked out. So I don't think he planned to show her, but glad he did, because when she saw that, she like, what you know about the? And he like, I don't know nothing. And she explains it's the expert hall. And she said they send shipment. They used to send shipment there, but then they send, she said now they send a guy. Who is this guy? We don't know. We're gonna, I have my confusion part, so I have some questions there and I have my predictions there. So we'll go into deeper thoughts of what I think is going on. But overall, that's kind of what happened there. And she kind of gave him a look like, "What you know about that?" And he like, "I don't really know much." And then so okay, moving on. Mr. Milkshake, right? Mr. Milkshake. And he meets with Natalie. Natalie is terrifying. She's gorgeous, but she's terrifying. She has this look in her eyes that's very much like terrifying. She's terrifying. I'm sorry. Okay? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. She's very terrifying. Anyway, moving on. So, basically, they present a gift to Melchett of a black, older version of him, almost like he's an elder or like an elder of the company, like his predecessor. And the thing is, he's like, I'm like, what in the appropriation is going on? What in appropriation? Because as we saw from before, there was never no black people. So now they trying to help the black people. So the question really is, how does Natalie feel about this as a black woman? Does she like that? Does that make her feel uncomfortable? Because it made Melchick feel a little uncomfortable. You would think it would have made him be like, but he's a black man. Okay? So he may be the enemy in this, but he's still a black man. So he like, something ain't right about that. That was a little weird. Like, what the? You ain't got the slave woman in the bed? What's going on here? So I don't know. I think that made him feel uncomfortable. Because when he went to go store it, right before he stored it, this was like some really cool subliminal. He did the picture of the older version of him, and then he covered it with a white piece of paper, like it's whitewashed. Ooh. Moving on. So Natalie, she inside of the brother-in-law house. Ma'am, why are you there? Why are you in his house? Excuse me. Why are you there? So she's sitting there talking to Mark's brother-in-law, and she trying to like, oh wow, the book is amazing, but just with a little bit of changes. Mark's sister come out like, is there a problem? Is there a reason you're here? What's up? And basically, Rickon, which is Mark's brother-in-law, is kind of like, oh, we're past that. She wants to, what can we do to bring the book into Lumon? So basically, she's trying to get the book into Lumon. And so let's keep it, just to get to the point, Devin is on it. The sister's like, nah, dog. And then Rickon is compromised. Done. Because he's so hype about his little book that's going to jeopardize the connection between Mark and the innies. So Devin's already on it. She's like, okay, well, the baby need milk in an hour, so how about let's get that together? How about that? How about we worry about that and not this little thing? So that was crazy. So there's more characters to talk about, but I want to talk about them in the twist shock area because some things were really crazy, and I thought that those characters should be talked about in this section. Let's start with Dylan. So remember, the team split in half. Two went to go focus on looking for Miss Casey, and the other two not so much. Now, Irving did go a little bit to look for, because he did bring up Miss Casey to Felicia. So it wasn't like he wasn't trying a little bit, but he just has a different agenda right now. And then Dylan cares about all of this, but he cares so much, he might be the worst person for Lumon. I think Lumon knows that Dylan's passion and drive for his friends is the most dangerous thing to have out of the four characters, and they want to crush that down. Okay, so I think that's the bottom line, and that's why they're targeting him in this such a way, because for him to distance himself from the group like that because of this situation shows why Lumon would even do this. And just with the thought of I might be able to see my wife and family in this little room was enough to calm him down, and then they showed it, right? So he goes to the security room, but it's actually the family room, and he meets who? His wife, his Aldi's wife. Okay, he meets his Aldi's wife, and he sees his kids on a picture. He has 3 kids, and he meets his wife. Okay, while they're meeting, they're being surveillanced by Miss Wong, the little girl that we don't understand why she there. Still don't know why she there. She's quite annoying, and her bob is not really bobbing. It didn't look too bad from the back, but from the front, I was like, can we get this bob to bob? But they don't want the bob to bob. Anyway, so they're in a tricky situation because there's a lot of questions and some stuff can't be answered, so they got to kind of keep it surface. They have to keep it surface level. So the wife kind of explains it, okay, how do I put it? The wife is quite innocent, or ideally innocent. The wife is quite innocent in this situation where she just kind of like, my husband never really had a good job, and finally we found something that somehow he's good. And technically Dylan is really good at this job when he's in it. He's really good at this job. We don't want to lose this job. Don't mess it up. She didn't say that, but she kind of said it like, we don't want to lose this job because our family needs this. We need this. So that put more pressure on Dylan to get it right for the kids and for his wife. And this is exactly why Melchick and all these people set this up, so that you can keep Dylan in line. That's what this was all about. So I thought that to be like insane to do Dylan in this way. Okay, so that was really crazy. Okay, now Mark and Helly, not Mark separately. We'll talk about Mark by himself in a minute, but let's just talk about Mark and Helly. So, and they're innies. So first, there's a little bit of love tension. They kind of love each other, but they can't love each other because it's so complicated. He has a wife who is alive, who he thought was dead for 2 years. Right, so it's like and so it's very complicated. And although the innie has no connection to the wife, the outie does, and the outie came first. So it's very complicated. So there's a little bit of love tension happening there. So they find themselves to the goat room that we saw in season 1, but no one's in the room. But there's a little hole in the room that they crawl through. Is very much giving Coraline. Very much giving Coraline when they were going through the hole. And then when they come on the other side, there's this room, big room with grass fields and a bunch of goats. Really awesome design. Side note. Very awesome design. And then this woman, I don't think we ever got a name, but this woman comes over who's actually the same. She plays Satan in the the Sandman, which was a really good show. Season 2 is coming out, I think, this year. It's a really good show, and I heard she's in Game of Thrones. But and she was in Hunger Games season, the second movie, part 2. Anyway, side note. But we didn't get a name here, so she comes over the hill. She like, is you trying to kill me? Let me know that now. Did you come here to kill me? They're like, whoa, calm down, girl. We didn't come here for none of that. We ain't come here for none of that. Okay? So they're like, what do you know about Casey? Do you know who this woman is? What you know? Okay? What you know? And she like, I don't know nothing about that. We don't know nothing about no wellness over here. We don't do wellness. We don't got time for wellness. And they like, no, I know you know. She called her team like with the bell. She like, y'all want to play games? So they coming over the hills. All the people coming over the hills. So she like, you should have calmed down. Listen, Helly was no joke with that sign. She like, what y'all know? Y'all don't know this woman? She's like, you don't know this woman? What y'all know? Who you know? I was cracking up. I was like, oh, Helly ain't playing no game. She like, listen, I love this man, and if he wants to find his wife, then we're gonna find the wife. I love that. Side note, I wasn't gonna even bring it up, but I feel it here. She's not an innie. I mean, she's not an outie. This is the innie. The energy's given innie. This is not the outie. Let's get rid of that theory. Until something shows us otherwise, that theory gotta go out the door. I think it's done. I think the theory's done. Okay? So basically, Mark convinces them, like, come on, I know you know who this is. And they do. They all know. Actually, they know her so well that they're moved by the fact that the wellness check would come in and kind of give them some inspiration and things like that. So they actually respect. So he kind of convinced them, like, come on now, like, we the same. At the end of the day, we the same. It was a Bible verse came in. He said, if one of your goats go missing, wouldn't you want to go find, right? So they kind of felt that, like, dang, I guess we are on the same page. And she was like, okay, we were told she retired. If you think otherwise, then we won't stand in your way. Like, we were told she got fired. She retired. But I'm not going to stop you if you think otherwise. So that's really good to hear, because, all right, now we got a little team. And then she asked about their bellies. And I'm gonna pause that here. We're gonna come back to the bellies and the confusion, because I had some ideas and then a little bit in prediction. But we're gonna pause that there. They asked about the bellies, they showed their bellies, and then they left. But we'll come back to what really happened when we get to confusion. Okay? Now, lastly, inside of the twist and shock, this was the biggest twist and shock of it all. Mark's outie had a completely different journey. So in the beginning, we see him timing his length from the car to the elevator, counting it down. How much time does it take? And then here comes Phi Phenomenon. Phi Phenomenon is when you look at light. So let's say you look at a light bulb or something, like I have this light bulb right in my face here. If I was to stare at that light for a certain amount of time, you look away, you can still see the light there hovering, remaining, and eventually it fades away. That's called Phi Phenomenon. That's why we're able to see screens. There's actually two things we have in our eyes: Phi Phenomenon and perception of vision. Or perception of vision is not really in the eyes, it's really in our mind. It's how we perceive things, how we perceive light. So the reason why we're able to see screens and videos is because, as all film is animated, but when this frame flashes into your eyes and then this frame comes next, the frame that's here, or let's do it backwards because I'm looking this way. So this frame comes into your eyes, and then the frame that comes next, this light, even though the frame is gone, the light remains, and it sits on top of this frame, so that every time it does that, it feels like movement. It's an illusion of movement. It's a perception of vision because actually there is no movement. It's an illusion. And a video is an illusion of movement. It's not actual movement. So for instance, when you look at a fan spinning and then the blades are spinning, we know let's say there's 4 blades. When it spins really quickly, it looks like one circle, one shape. That's a perception of vision. That's the way we perceive what we're seeing. Plus the Phi Phenomenon, which is this blade, the light from this blade blends with the light from this blade, and then when our eyes accept it, it makes one shape, and then our brain accepts it as one shape. That's why when we watch a video, we watch a movie, we watch an animation, we accept it as a video, we accept it as a movie, but in reality, it's an illusion. Sound is an illusion too, but that's a whole nother thing. So he wanted to use Phi Phenomenon to allow his eyes to hold on to light. I don't know how he thought this was gonna work. For a minute and 40 seconds, which is way too long for the Phi Phenomenon to hold on to your eyes. And we find out that that's not even possible because when he was in the car testing it, so on the light beam, he painted in black, who is alive? Question mark, like who is alive? So he put it on his eyes. He's trying to let it burn into his eye. And you can't do that for too long because then you'll burn your retina. So he's trying to make it stain into his eyes. So then for a minute and 40 seconds, he can get to the elevator so that his Audi can see it in his eyes. Great concept, great idea. But we find out from, I forgot her name. We don't have her name. But the black woman is, and I'm sure we'll get a name soon. She is the one who severed Pete, I think it's Pete, the first time, but he died because he didn't follow her instructions. It's not safe to unsever, to go through the procedure, but it is possible to get it right if you follow her instructions, and he did not. So hopefully Mark does, because we don't want Mark to die because of the reintegration. So she like, are you dumb? First of all, the way they were at that door was so funny. She like, let me in the car door. Let me in. He like, no, let me in. Then she cursed him out. Let me in this car. So she let him in. But she explained that's not going to work because first of all, you're going to burn your retina trying to keep that much light in your eye. So you're crazy. And then even if it did work, the way they do the elevator, it blinks everything out, so it erases anything you have in your eyes anyway, so it's just not going to work. That's not how we're going to do it, but I have a way we can do it. And she was talking about reintegration, and she was like, plus your wife alive. She didn't say it directly like that. Basically was like, did you find out she alive? He like, what you know? She was like, well, the last time I saw her, that was enough for him to know, okay, she alive, or at least the potential of, I need to at least know if she was alive. She's more alive than the 2 years that I thought she was dead. How about that? So that was really overwhelming for him, and he was like, do it. Let's just do it. Let me do it. The design, the way, first of all, just the transition when he's sitting in that chair. And she's asking him these questions, and he answering. And then that transition of not knowing the answer, going from Audi to innie, and then the way the camera work was happening. Oh my goodness, I was flipping out. So good the way they did that last part. That last part was delicious. You understand? Delicious. Okay? So really enjoy that. Okay, now let's get into the confusion. I really wanted that to be the last part, but let's get right on into confusion. All right, let's start with the bellies. So the bellies, they had Mark and Helly show them their belly. And I'm a rapper. Anyway, and they showed about belly, and then the woman says they have pouches. See, they have pouches. And he's like, that don't mean anything. Now, first of all, pouches, the only pouch I can think you talking about is a belly button. But for her to say they have pouches would indicate she don't know what a belly button is. And if you don't know what a belly button is, that means you were never born to have a belly. Because the only reason why we have the belly button is the only indicator. I'm sitting here showing my belly. We're gonna cut that out. The only indicator that that you were born, because you had an umbilical cord, and the umbilical cord is from your mother. So if she's questioning, she didn't say. Now the pouches could mean like, no, it's the belly button. And so that means clone. That means they weren't born, or they were like, they were born. I mean, they could be born, but they weren't born of a mother, which means they were like grown or something. I don't know. That's probably why they like roughed up and like kind of like colonized looking, because they live there. They're not severed. They're regular degulas. They never left. Oh, that's so crazy. They don't know nothing about the outside world. Something crazy. I don't know. This is just my opinion. Whew. We'll come back to that in my predictions. Okay. So, Miss Cobel. So, first we see her sleeping in her car in the beginning, which was like, what's that about? Oh, no, that makes sense. I wouldn't want to go back to the house either. My next door neighbor is Mark. Okay, yeah, I'm like, why is she sleeping in her car? Duh. No, you don't go back. You stay in that car forever until you figure something out. Okay, so that answered that. So then a little bit later on in the episode, we see she meets with Helly, the Audi Helly, and outside of Lumon as Helly's leaving from work. And she pretty much was like, I demand my job back. Like, I'll come back, but I want my job. You know I need my job. And I need to get back in there. And Helly basically was like, nah, you underestimating how powerful you think you are. Like, calm down. Oh, how about, let's call the board and see what the car. Oh, you know what? The board does want, probably not. The board does want to meet. So they're about to walk in, and then Miss Cobel felt something like, oh, they won't kill me. Let me get on out of here. So she basically ran. I mean, she slowly walked away, but then she ran and got her car. She got a silent threat. It wasn't a threat, but it was very much a silent threat. So she was out of there. She like, I can't go back. So I don't know what's about to happen there. Okay. And then she mentions, before that, she mentions to Helly on why she needs her job back. She's like, he's so close to Cold Harbor. He's so close to completing it. So I was like, Cold Harbor. I had to look it up. So this is where it gets complicated. At the end of episode 1, remember how they flashed some computer stuff in front of our eyes a little bit? So basically, on that it says Cold Harbor. That was the program, and it showed that when he selected those numbers out of joyful emotion and put those box, he went up 67%. But then it flashed to Miss Casey, who also went up 67%. So it's like, is that why she's so like kind of blank slate and why she's so calm? Did she actually die, but they're trying to like bring her back and they need some emotions to do this? Or like, what is going on? So this is crazy. This is crazy. And the last part of the confusion section is the export hall. What were you exporting before they changed it? Like, was it just you were taking the artwork and just putting it on the elevator and they send it where they need to send it? Was it just items and things? Because that's confusing. Who was the guy who was it now that they send there? Why did it make you feel uncomfortable? Because if you really knew it, you must know something for you to be like, what you know about that? So what do you know about that? So yeah, that's a little crazy. Okay, so now let's get on into my predictions. Okay, so these are my predictions. I'm gonna do my predictions for what's about to happen, and then we'll review last week's predictions and see what stands. Did I get anything right? Did I get anything wrong? Has anything changed? Are we still waiting for certain things to come to fruition? Let's see. Okay, so first of all, I think Felicia is going to give the directions to Export Hall. That's like a given. It's kind of obvious. She's definitely going to tell Irving, look, this is how you get to the hall. This is what's going on. And I think she might either die or get fired for this reason. And maybe not, either she's gonna die, like her actual being will be captured and put in the same situation, or they're gonna fire her, which means her innie dies. Either way, I think Felicia might get in trouble for sharing this information with Irving. I think that's gonna happen. I think Dylan's gonna crack. Dylan, as much as you can tell he cares about, that was interesting, that love situation, but deep down he cares about having a family, and that his Audi has a family. He wants to protect that. However, I think Dylan is not going to be able to last that long, because eventually he's not going to like holding this information from the team. And the thing is, we'll talk about it in a sec, but everybody is hiding something. Everybody is hiding a little bit of something, and I think eventually all that has to come out, because if you really are friends and really care about each other, you're not gonna be able to hold this information for so long. Okay. And then I think Miss Cobel might actually be a good person. It's so hard to tell because she's so rigid and so mean, but she might just be good. I don't know why I feel that, but something about her really wanting to help and be a part of this Mark's situation. Some theories is that she's his mother, but I don't know. That would mean that she's both Devin and Mark's mom, and that would mean they must have been like not like adopted at birth or given away or something. It's possible. We've seen these stories all the time, so it's not impossible. But I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a stretch of a theory. But anyway, I think she might be actually good. And then I think Mark will reveal. I don't think Mark is going to reveal to his team about his integration. I think they're going to figure it out, because those are two different people. But the question, that's where I'm excited to see, like, what happens once he has all that energy, all that information. Is he going to be able to trigger, because he knows how once he has all that information about his Audi and Innie, will he be able to act as both because he is the same person? Or will it be a challenge for him to keep that side of him out, which allow them to kind of be like, this don't seem like the person I know, you know what I mean? So I don't know, we'll see about that, but I don't think he's gonna reveal it to them, but I do think they're gonna find out for sure. I think in the next episode, Mark is gonna go and find all the Audis. He's gonna go and search for them, collect them, and like, look, this is what's going on, what you want to do. Oh my goodness, see, because once he got that information and he knows that who the Helly is about to be a problem. Okay. I think Helly's Audi is going to cave in. I think Helly is going to eventually become good all the way around, not just her Innie, but her Audi as well. It's going to be a challenge, but I think it's going to happen. And then lastly, in this week's predictions, I think the team will go back to, so the name of that field that they were in that room is called Mammalonians. No, how should she say it? Mammalonians Merchable. I think I'm saying it right. I think the whole team, Innie's team, is going to go back because there's too many questions there. There's some answers there too. And I think they're going to go back because here's the thing. They didn't, because that's why I was also confused. If someone says, show me your belly, and then they're like, something's wrong. The next question is, well, let me see your belly. What's up? Because I bet you they ain't got no belly buttons, but they didn't want to reveal that in this episode. So just want to put that out there. Okay, now last week's predictions. Let's see what I got right. So I said last week, we'll go back in with a little back and forth. That was a little obvious, and that's exactly what happened. We went back in, we had a little bit of back and forth. We showed a little bit of out, showed a little bit of in. That was kind of obvious, and that's exactly what happened. Miss Cobel will come to help Mark. I just said that again. I still think that's going to happen. I don't know. We still didn't get that answer yet, but I still think that's going to happen. Mark's sister will put her foot down. Yes, that did happen. Mark's sister was kind of like, no, you know what? No, that technically didn't happen. She tried that in the diner, but he wasn't having it. So technically she didn't put her foot down. What made him change his mind was the situation with the car with Miss Cobel at the end of the episode. That's technically what happened. I said Bert wants to know the truth. That's why he left Lumon. I don't know that yet. We don't know that yet, but I feel that. So we'll find out. We'll find out about that. Helly will become full good and rebel against her father. So we still don't know about that. And I just said that I feel that as well. I said I think last week's episode is going to have a wraparound. We have to see, because it could happen in any episode if that does happen. I don't know if I feel that so much anymore. I think last week's episode was more about just what was the outie, what happened to the outies after season 1. I think that's all the purpose was. I don't think we're going to get a wraparound, but you never know. And then hit this one on the nose. I think Mark will get the procedure. I didn't know it was going to be this episode. I thought maybe episode 4, maybe episode 5, not episode 3. And guess what? He got the procedure. I was absolutely right about that. And then part of that, I said Mark's outie is mad. Yeah. Because when he was emotional and he was like, I don't care, just do it. Now he's very upset. He's very hurt. He's very broken. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I said the sister is ride or die. I already felt that, but this is how you know she really ride or die, because of that situation when whatever the lady's name is was in the house talking to her husband about that book, and it was already like, why y'all kikiing up in here? And because already I feel uncomfortable with you even being in here in general, and then you go kikiing with my husband, and then you talking about we gonna make a new book and all, or we gonna make some adjustments. No, so and then guess what she did? She went right to her brother. Like, and then they got a nerve to be in my house. So, I was totally right about her being a ride or die. She's a really good sister. So I'm excited to see that. Anyway, overall, this was a fantastic episode. I'm excited for next week. I think next week is really about to be a killer. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm looking forward to going live, because live is really fun because we get to work together. You guys can ask me questions. We can share together, come up with concepts and ideas. You give me your ideas, my ideas, and it doesn't feel like it's just me, but it's us as a team. So I'm really looking forward to that. Same thing with the podcast. Podcast is going to be a little bit tighter because it's more complicated conversations, but I'm looking forward to going live with you guys. And also, it just saves me time with editing and processing, and it makes it allows me to do more content quicker, as opposed to having to then edit the whole video as well. So looking forward to that. Definitely check out my Etsy shop. Go to jcutt.com. You can get to the Etsy shop from there, or you can go straight to the Etsy shop. I got the link down below. If you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button, because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. That's it.